Good morning, students. We have been reading the chapter the stolen bacillus. We have finished reading the chapter, and I have also explained the chapter in detail to you. Watch the previous videos carefully. Now, in today's video, we will do the back exercise. First of all, you need to write the word meanings the way they are given in the book. Like bacillus, the form of the word is noun, and the meaning is rod-shaped bacterium, a very small organism or microorganism. Atomies, it's a noun, tiny particles. So in this way, you need to write all the word meanings in your notebook. Now let's study about the author. George Herbert Wells, born on 21st September 1866 and died on 13th August 1946, was an English writer, prolific in many genres. Prolific means very proficient, very good artist. He wrote dozens of novels, short stories, works, social commentary, history, satire, biography, and autobiography. His work also include 2 books on recreational war games. Wells is now best recommended for his science fiction novels and is often called the father of science fiction. His most notable science fiction work includes The Time Machine, The Island of Dr. Moreau, and The Invisible Man, The War of the Worlds, and the military science fiction The War in the Air. Wells was nominated for the Nobel Prize in Literature 4 times. Right? Now, there is a brief summary. One morning, the bacteriologist is accepted a visitor with a letter of introduction from a friend. The visitor shows curiosity in a live bacterium of cholera. The bacteriologist tells him everything and shows different tubes telling what their contents are. The visitor shows even deeper excitement finding out that there is a living bacteria of cholera in the laboratory. At that moment, bacteriologist's wife Minnie calls him out for a minute, and when he returns to the lab, the visitor is very eager to leave. When the visitor left, the bacteriologist finds that the tube has been missing. He immediately runs after him and gets into a cab to get the visitor. Minnie watches her husband running along the street through the window. He is hatless and one of his slippers is took off. He says he is mad, but it is her duty to help, so he takes a hat and hires a cab to run after her husband. On the streets of London, a real chase is formed. People amuse themselves watching it and commenting. The visitor sitting in the cab is dreaming of how he will poison the river and kill most of the people. He wants to become famous and thinks it is the best way to make people talk about him. But the tube breaks and its contents is poured on him. They are spilled on him. He tells the cabman to stop and get off the cab. At that very moment, the bacteriologist catches him up. The visitor calmly walks along the street with the thought to get to the first well and wash his hands so that the poison would get into the water. But he does not know that the bacteriologist at the first sight had guessed that the visitor was anarchist and ran after him only to make himself sure. In the tube, there was no bacterium of cholera, but a bacterium which provokes blue stains on monkeys. So that was in the test tube. Now let's do the back exercise questions. Read to understand. Answer these questions with reference to context. He stood on the pavement with his arm folded upon the breast, awaiting the arrival of the bacteriologist. Who stood on the pavement? The pale man stood on the pavement. Why was he standing with his arms folded? He was standing with his arm folded because he thought that now he would die of cholera. So there is no need of running away from the bacteriologist. Why was he waiting for the bacteriologist? He was waiting for the bacteriologist to tell him that he had drunk the bacillus of cholera and now he would spread it in the whole city. Now, B part, answer these questions. How did the pale-faced man gain access to the bacteriologist and his laboratory? The pale-faced man forged a letter of introduction and gained access to the bacteriologist and his laboratory. Why did the pale-faced man called the anarchists fools? He called anarchists fools because he thought that if a bottled cholera, when released in the supply of drinking water, causes terrible death and can devastate a city, then why are they using bombs which are difficult to place and have chances to be caught? Third question, what was the disturbing thought that struck the bacteriologist? The disturbing thought was that the visitor must have stolen the bacillus. Why do you think the man had come to visit the bacteriologist? The man had come to visit the bacteriologist to see and steal any of his new inventions, discovery, or the bacillus which could help him to ruin the city. Explain the line. Well, I suppose I shall be the first. The line means that the anarchist thought that himself to be the first person to die of cholera. What did the bacteriologist reveal to his wife about the contents of the stolen tube? What did he think would be a bother? The bacteriologist revealed to his wife that the tube stolen by the anarchist did not contain cholera, but a strange species of bacteria which can cause blue patches or can turn animals blue. The bother for him was that he has to go through all the trouble and expense of preparing it all over again. Why did the man feel that there was no further need to escape the bacteriologist? The man felt so because he had consumed the bacillus and thought that he would soon die, so no one would be able to imprison him. Why was the bacteriologist amused at the actions of the anarchist? The bacteriologist got amused at the actions of anarchists because the stolen tube did not contain cholera, but a strange new microbe which he had been studying. It can only cause blue patches or can turn the species blue if consumed. Now, discuss and write. What do you think would have happened to the anarchist? I think the anarchist would have developed some blue patches or got some allergies, or might nothing happen to him as the bacillus was prepared for animals only. What do you think of the actions of the bacteriologist in the story? Did he act responsibly or irresponsibly? He acted responsibly as he came to know that the vial of bacteria is missing. He ran out in panic and chased the man. Now there are some extra questions. You need to write them down in your notebooks along with the answers. What did the bacteriologist say when he was obliged to do? The bacteriologist said he was obliged to do because he was legally as well as morally bound to take care of living bacteria. What possibility did he make his visitor aware of regarding the bottled cholera? The bacteriologist made his visitor aware regarding the bottled cholera that if it is released into the water supply, it will increase and multiply and will cause mysterious, untraceable, painful, terrible deaths. How did the tube containing the bacteria break? What was the man planning to do with the contents of the tube before it broke? In the speeding cab, he accidentally broke the tube containing the bacteria when his hand hit the door of the cab. The man was planning to poison the water of London and devastate the city. What did the man wish to make sure? What did he intend to do? He had only to make sure of the water supply and break the little tube in the reservoir. He intended to poison the water of London and destroy the city. So that's all in this chapter, students. I hope you have understood. If you have any difficulty, call me or message me. Have a nice day. God bless you. Thank you very much.